gives you a closer look at the events that happened around Maine this week.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Cindy Campbell. We're going to start today talking about something we're all seeing on the roads: motorcycles. I chatted with Maine's Highway Safety Director, Lauren Stewart, about staying safe on a motorcycle and how drivers can help keep them safe. So everywhere I go right now, Lauren, I'm seeing motorcycles on the roads. I'm married to a motorcyclist, so I know how excited they are. But we want to talk about motorcycle safety. And I think the first thing we need to say is proper gear is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is crucial for motorcyclists to take every precaution that they possibly can to keep themselves safe on the roadway. And that involves all of the protective gear that they can get their hands on, including DOT-compliant helmets, good goggles, leather chaps, leather jackets, boots. They also make some non-leather motorcycle riding gear, which I understand is pretty good too. So we just like to see people take all the precautions that they can.
Every year I'll see someone on the back of a motorcycle and they're wearing, shorts and flip-flops, and it just makes me cringe to think of what would happen to them if they got in a crash.
Yeah, it certainly is not safe to do that. We don't want to see any passenger or a rider, for that matter, on that motorcycle out with all the vehicles on the roadway or the debris that maybe just hasn't been cleaned up yet from spring. And, it's just not good advice to not have that protective gear on.
Right. Motorcyclists want to make sure that they use their turn signals and use them early to give motorists a heads up that they're going to turn.
Yep, and we need those motorists to be paying attention to that as well. So motorcycles, as you know, are a little bit smaller vehicles. They're harder to see sometimes, even with that one headlight that's supposed to be on all day and all night. They still are hard to see. The motor vehicle operators have not been used to seeing them all winter. So we ask the motor vehicle operators to take that second look, especially when turning left, so that you don't pull out in front of that motorcyclist, because they may not have time to stop if they think that you've seen them.
It is very easy especially when you haven't been looking all winter, to be at an intersection and look before pulling out, and you look again and you're looking for cars, and to miss the fact that there's a motorcycle there.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that we say is take a second to take that second look and just make sure there's nobody coming, because that motorcyclist is not necessarily going to be able to safely avoid you pulling out in front of them.
Right. And motorcyclists should always make sure that drivers can see them. So they should be, the headlight on and maybe wearing something a little bright so that they're easier to see.
Yeah, we ask that they wear brightly colored clothing, reflective tape, again, anything that they can do to make themselves more visible to the motor vehicle operator, especially with the distraction that we're seeing out on the highway. So if that person driving the car is distracted by something else, the chances of them seeing that motorcyclist is even slimmer.
Right. And where the motorcycle rides is important too. I mean, you don't want to be riding in a car's blind spot or too close to the center line.
Right. Want to be in the middle of the lane, which, gives you the most space on either side of that lane to maneuver if you need to, but it also makes you more visible to the motor vehicle operator.
Back to the cars for a second. One of my husband's pet peeves riding his motorcycle is when somebody rides too close to the back of the motorcycle. You want to make sure you give plenty of space there.
Plenty of space, because if that motorcycle goes down for any reason whatsoever, you need to be able to stop your car in time to not cause additional damage. So, 3, 4, even more seconds distance between you and the motorcycle in front of you is great advice.
It's important to remember that, if you bump the back of the car in front of you, it's probably not going to be a big deal, but you can just bump the back of a bike and there's nothing there. I mean, that rider, chances are, is going to go off the bike.
Absolutely. Yes. So leave that distance, pay attention to what's going on in front of you. If you're approaching a stoplight, slow down in case that light turns yellow, that you have plenty of time to stop in case the motorcycle in front of you stops.
Motorcyclists are required to follow the same traffic laws. Sometimes they don't seem like they think that they are, but they have to follow the same traffic laws, correct?
Everybody sharing the road has to follow the traffic laws, whether you're on a bicycle or whether you're on a motorcycle. So yeah, we share the road and we all follow the rules of the road.
Okay. And for both cars and motorcycles, you never want to drink and drive or drive when you're distracted.
Absolutely not. Find a designated driver, stay put, wait till you're sober, no drinking, no driving, whether you're operating a motorcycle or a motor vehicle.
Can I just add from the point of view of someone who loves someone who's on a motorcycle, people, and this is off the road kind of, but people mowing their lawns want to make sure they're not throwing that grass out into the roadway. That can be really dangerous for motorcycles.
Absolutely. Grass, leaves, anything, if you push it out into the roadway, then you're creating a hazard for motorcyclists as well as bicyclists. And today we're talking about motorcyclists, and those wet leaves or those grass clippings are extremely dangerous to motorcyclists.
Would you recommend for motorcyclists that they maybe take an updated safety course every once in a while just to sharpen their skills?
I think that's a great idea, and we do encourage them to do that. We also encourage people to make sure that they've chosen a motorcycle that's appropriate for their skill level. So you don't want to buy something that's too big for you to handle or something that's too fast for you to handle based on your skill level. So make sure that you purchase the right bike for your skill and make sure that you take those updated rider courses. There's no harm in taking additional skills courses to make sure that you're a better rider.
Okay, and it's important to do like a quick walk around, a quick safety check of the bike before you head out, just to avoid any problems on the trip.
Absolutely. Check those tires just like you would with your car before you go out. You're going to walk around your car, make sure your tires are all good. And same thing with a motorcycle.
Okay. Wow. I think that's what I had. Did we miss anything, Lauren? Is there anything you wanted to add?
I will mention to you that we've already had 3 motorcycle fatalities already this May, and that is tragic. So we really want people to pay attention and be safe and make sure that they're operating their motorcycle safely.
Remember, look twice, save a life. Next, Maine is in need of foster parents, and so I chatted with Suzette Johnston of Kids Peace about the approval process and what it means to be a foster family. What is Kids Peace, Suzette?
We are a mental health agency in the community. We have an office right here in Bangor. We offer outpatient therapy, targeted case management, and home community therapy. And my role is in our foster care program. We are an agency that works with treatment-level foster parents or therapeutic foster parents. People will hear it called different things in the community. And what that means is we're working with people who have had some experience with children in the past, or they are currently licensed and looking to become what's called a specialized home, which means they have a little bit more training, and they're working as foster parents who are taking on some of our harder kids to place in foster homes right now.
So these are folks who are going to be dealing with children who have some sort of challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's National Foster Care Month. Does Maine have a shortage of foster parents?
Yes. In a study recently that I had read, and it was at the end of 2021, was the latest study that was done. There was an estimated 2,200 children in foster care, and there's just about 1,700 licensed homes in our state. So as you can see, the need is really critical for foster homes to hopefully lessen these stays in residential care or in hospital and crisis facilities right now.
And when you're talking about foster parents, you're talking about folks who are inviting kids to live in their homes, correct?
They are. There is a process that a foster home needs to go through to get licensed through the state of Maine with the Department of Health and Human Services. There is a set of classes that prospective foster families need to take, as well as being able to pass state-run background checks. And, when people think of fostering, one of the questions I think we often get is, can I be a single parent, or, do I have to be married? And the answer to that is no. You can be, a single parent home. You can be, married and be foster parents. You can be part of the LGBTQ community. It's really something that I think if people are interested in learning more about, it's great if they visit our fostercare.com website and learn a little bit more about the process. And that way they can kind of do it on their own time and talk to, their significant others or their family members about that.
So about how long does that process take from the time that you say, okay, I'm talking to the state and I want to become a foster parent until they actually are a licensed foster parent? About how long is that process?
It's about 4 to 6 months when you are taking the classes and going through the licensing process. and getting fingerprinted and going through the home study process. It's about 4 to 6 months.
That's really not that long. I would have expected it to be longer than that.
No, it's really not that long when you think about it. And the process goes by pretty quickly. Aside from being the family resource specialist here at Kids Peace, my husband and I were also treatment level foster parents. So my experience isn't only professional, it's very personal to me. And it's something I really want to educate people in our community about. And, I do know a lot of the ins and outs from doing it in my home. We did it for about a decade, so for about 10 years. And we filled our home. So now I want, everyone else to learn about it because our house is full of teenagers now.
Did you have good experiences as a foster parent?
We did. We had really good experiences as a foster parent, and I learned a lot along the way. I learned a lot about, I think sometimes, as we get a little bit older, I don't know what word to use other than, we have our expectations. One of the things I had really talked about recently was, being adaptable and being flexible and, really listening to the kids' needs and what they have been through and really kind of adjusting as you go and really putting yourselves, not only in these kids' shoes who have, just lost their parents or their family, for the time being, but also putting ourselves in the birth parent's shoes. They've lost their child, they've lost someone they love, and I think we just really have to hone in on being respectful and flexible and adaptable. And I think, those are what makes being a foster home successful.
I'm really glad that you said that because I think that's a reality that foster parents need to accept, is that they are very possibly bringing children into their homes who have had some sort of challenging situation. I don't want to use the word trauma, but some sort of challenging situation. And they're going to bring that with them. So they need to be prepared to be patient and understanding.
Yes, definitely. And that, when we talk about working with kids who have some significant challenges, when you're partnering with an agency such as Kids Peace, I really look at it as a team approach. I think people wonder, am I in this alone? And you're not in it alone. There is a team of providers that are there for support and working you through those hard situations. I think back to my own experience and, our first placement, we didn't really know what that was going to look like. And then, over the years, you kind of learn as you go. And I think definitely having, agency support is incredible.
That kind of answered my next question, I think, because another thing I think potential foster parents would be concerned about is, what if I get a child that I can't handle, that their challenges are just beyond my capabilities of being able to control them? Is there someone I can talk to, and is there a way that maybe we could have them placed at another home?
There's definitely, help out there here at Kids Peace. We have myself as the family resource specialist. We have a family consultant who really works very closely with the families who, he can help with those meetings and those difficult conversations and, really brainstorm and explore different ways to support the family through, whatever decisions they're going to come to. And I think that, what really makes having an agency like Kids Peace helpful is that it's a team and that you're not alone.
Right. So what kinds of qualities would you look for? If you had to kind of boil it down, what kinds of qualities would you look for in a successful foster parent?
Once somebody had asked me, if you had a child that had to have a messy room and you wanted it neat, how would you deal with that? And I think we really have to, again, being able to put yourselves in the kid's shoes or the birth parent's shoes and being able to look at the whole picture, being flexible, being adaptable, and really being a good advocate for the children that are in your home, being able to really talk about their needs and being able to be open to, learning new ways to work these children through their, like you said, their challenges. I think at the end of the day, what really makes a successful foster parents is, to not overcomplicate things and to really just give kids love and stability.
Okay. So you said your offices are in Bangor. Are you looking for foster parents throughout the state, or is it mainly in the Bangor area?
We are in a critical need throughout the entire state. We have our Bangor office here, and then we have offices in Lewiston and Portland, and they also have a family consultant and a family resource specialist. So it's really a statewide, need. For our office, we're covering the greater Bangor area. We're covering Ellsworth, Lincoln, Millinocket. So we are really looking all over the state where the need is so critical. Like I said, I know at the end of 2021, there was an estimated 2,200 kids in care with just about 1,700 homes licensed. So I think that's really telling of the shortage right now.
Yeah, for sure. So if someone's listening and says, hey, I think I would like to explore that, how do they get started in the process of becoming a foster family?
So they can look at our website. It's fostercare.com, or they can reach out to myself at our Bangor office at 299-1414. And I'm more than happy to, give information and help guide them through the process. We do also have some posters displayed around town. Those do have QR codes on them if people wanted to scan the QR code, which brings you right to the fostercare.com website, so they can, do their own reading. And then if they have any questions, they can certainly call our office or go online.
Find more information at fostercare.com. And finally today, I wanted to remind you of a program that's helping people in recovery from substance use disorder by offering physical training programs. Joel Acker tells us more about the Phoenix. Joel, tell us how you've taken your occupation and partnered with a nonprofit in order to help others.
So I'm a CrossFit coach with CrossFit Bangor and a nonprofit organization. We've partnered to bring the Phoenix, which is a nonprofit sobriety organization that brings in sober, active community to communities all over the nation. And we offer free CrossFit training and workouts to anybody with 48 hours or more of sobriety.
So explain to me how this works.
Here in Bangor, this program's brand new, and there are programs throughout the entire country. There's almost a little over 100,000 participants that have come into Phoenix doors to use fitness as a form of self-discovery on their sobriety journey. And what they do is they come into a gym, and you can either follow the structured workout that I'm going to be coaching, or you can hang out on equipment in the back. And the idea is to get you into a gym and begin physicality, to slow your mind down and slow your body down so that you can really figure out what's going on in your journey.
And this is not just something you're talking about. You've lived it, correct?
Yeah, so I moved to Maine specifically to get sober, and I came to Maine with $12 in a backpack of canned food.
Wow.
And eventually I found a Bangor man who was owning a gym in Portland, and he was hosting Phoenix events at his gym. And I kind of found out about the Phoenix, attended a few of those events, moved to Bangor myself eventually. And immediately my goal was to start the program here in Bangor, just seeing how the community had been affected by drug addiction and alcoholism.
I love this idea because not only does it give someone who's battling substance use disorder a new purpose and something else to do, but it's also building them up physically while slowing down their minds.
Yeah, I think every athlete, hands down, no matter what your medium of athletics is, whether it's brisk walking down the street for 2 miles on a snowy day, everybody can say that there's a lot of self-discovery, and that's one of the best times to have some of your thoughts. Things slow down. So I know for myself, I learned a lot about myself and how to make corrections in areas of my life that I really needed to, and physicality was part of that.
Find more information at thephoenix.org. I'm Cindy Campbell. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay healthy.
Join us again next weekend for Maine Concerns with your Town Square Media News team.